Switzerland, Stefan Hager, taking you into the Bible. Today, some Swiss heroes of the Second World War, as you can see here, they are not buried here, but they are remembered here on this monument with name, because they laid down their lives for the people by defending Switzerland from Hitler. This is Huttwil, the town I was born, and I take you with me today to read John Mark's Gospel, chapter 15, the report how Jesus laid down his life. We have New International Reader's Version, which is easy for some of us who are not native speakers. We read from verse 16 onwards, 16 all the way to 32. You can read along in your own Bible. Don't hesitate. Urdu, Arabic, Amharic, Swiss, French, whatever, even King James Bible. It doesn't matter. It's the same, based on the same text of the first century, John Mark's report. Let's see how it starts. Verse 16, the soldiers, they led Jesus away into the palace. Now Jesus was handed over to the Romans by the Jews. It was called the Praetorium. They called together the whole company of soldiers. The soldiers put a purple robe on Jesus. Then they twisted thorns together to make a crown. They placed it on his head. They began to call out to him, "We honor you, King of the Jews." Again and again they hit him on the head with a stick, and they spit on him to nail him to the. Then they led him out to nail him to a cross. They put on his clothes back on him. They took off the purple robe and they put clothes on back to him. Let's read on what it says. Sorry. Jesus then walks all the way here. Let's see. Chapter 15. We're reading in the middle of chapter 15. And we read on from verse 21. There was a man from Africa, Cyrene, that's Libya, today's Libya, a man named Simon from Cyrene. He was passing by. He was the father of Alexander and Rufus. Simon was on his way in front of the country. The soldiers forced him to carry the cross. Look at this. They brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha. The word Golgotha means the place of the skull. Then they gave him wine mixed with spices, but he did not take it. Verse 24, they nailed him to the cross. Then they divided up his clothes. They cast lots to see what each of them would get. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him. They wrote out the charge against him. It read, "The King of the Jews." And now we read verse 27 and verse 28 together in one verse. They crucified 2 robbers with him. One was on his right and one was on his left. Those who passed by shouted at Jesus and made fun of him. They shook their heads and they said, "So, you are going to destroy the temple and build it again in 3 days." That was the accusation. That was the lie which brought Jesus to the cross. It was the lie which they took out of context. Remember, Jesus prophesied about his own body as the temple and the church whom he would establish afterwards. But they took it out of context, so they shook their heads, verse 29, Those who passed by, they shouted, they made fun of him, they shook their heads, and they said, "You are going to destroy the temple and build it up in 3 days. Then come down from the cross and save yourself," they said. We read on, verse 31. In the same way, the chief priests and the teachers of the law, they made fun of him among themselves. What did they say? He saved others, they said, but he can't save himself. Let this Christ, the King of Israel, come down now from the cross. Then we will see. We see that we will believe. So they said, you save yourself now. But look at those people who are named on the monument. They gave their lives. They laid it down for the nation of Switzerland in the Second World War. They were killed, but they saved our forefathers, many. So Jesus also purposely went to the cross. And those, not even the soldiers, they mocked him and made fun of him, but also those who were being crucified with Jesus, they also made fun of him, the Bible says.